Welcome to Sit Down and Heal with Coach Derek. I am Coach Derek, your favorite relationship coach, and even better, I am your healing journey coach. And today, we are going to have an amazing show because we're going to see what a healing journey really looks like. And I have a special guest, and I'm going to tell you why this guest is special in a minute. I am here every Tuesday on TikTok Live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. So if you missed the show, this will be uploaded to YouTube. So the YouTube channel and everything that I have going on is in the link in the bio. Let me say that one more time. It's in the link in the bio. You just have to push it, and it will send you everywhere that you need to go to get you together. So tonight is special because not only do I have a guest that's going to come up and talk to you guys about her own personal healing journey, but she started her healing journey and has progressed through her healing journey through relationship gumbo coaching. So it's near and dear to me because I call her my associate professor because she didn't took all the things. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna bring her up here and I'm gonna tell y'all a little story, a little 60-second story. So let me say something in the comments, Tanya, so I can grab you. Or click the little double person at the bottom. All right, let me see. How can I do this? All right, it should be inviting you now. Let me bring.
You can't see my face. Why not?
You got to click the little camera in the upper left-hand corner, and you have to hit save.
Oh.
Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. There's a camera in the upper left. You tap it, and you have to hit save in order for it to take. It should be a red save button. You see it?
No.
So tap your picture on the screen. Tap your picture on the screen.
Oh.
And you should see a camera in the upper left. You see it? Boom! There she is, y'all.
Good evening,
There she is.
everybody.
Welcome in. I don't know what to call you tonight. We're gonna call you Tanya B.
You can call me Boogie. That's fine.
So y'all, a lot of y'all might know her as Boogie, aka Tanya B. She is in the building. So y'all, let me tell y'all something. When I started on my TikTok journey of doing this coaching thing, and I was trying to figure out how my system was gonna work, this was like a year and a half, right? Like
Almost.
it's been a year and a half. She was here from the beginning. She saw all of the changes and all of the stuff, and she literally took everything that I ever produced because she was serious about healing. She was serious about being a better version of herself. So I wanted y'all to actually see somebody that's not me, show y'all how this works in real life with a real person, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is I want you to because she's a life coach now. She has a specialty. So I want you, so we're going to touch on it for like 2 seconds, right? Well, maybe 5. Tell them who you are and tell them about your new journey of becoming, and I'm going to tell them what it is and what you aspire to do with it.
I have just got certified as a health and wellness coach, focusing on nutrition for people who have chronic illnesses such as diabetes, prediabetes, high blood pressure. We're going to focus on your diet, exercise. We're going to focus on getting your mind right so your body will fall in line.
See, I love it. So make sure, first and foremost, y'all need to follow her because she got some things coming up, whether she know it or not, because you got me in your corner, and we got a whole crew of people, a lot of them in the comments that's going to lift you up. So y'all,
I'm excited.
So let's do this, right? I don't have no bullet points or nothing. We just gonna free flow this thing.
Okay.
So for everybody that's in the comments, right? We're gonna take you on Boogie's journey, right? Within reason, we're gonna take you on Boogie's journey so that you guys will understand how this works. And so you're going to see how some of the I call the way that I coach a little unconventional because it's not based around one-on-ones fully. So I'm going to show you how it works through someone who's been through the system. So, and make sure y'all share and tap So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and then you can kind of fill it in as we go along the journey. So the
Okay.
first question is, when you first came to look, well, I won't necessarily say look for coaching, but when you realized that you needed it, what was the reasons why you felt like you needed it?
The last breakup was hard, and I realized that I was continuing a cycle, and I needed just to stop and start reevaluating what was going on around me to try to determine what was I doing to keep being in the same situations with the different faces.
Right. And so this, what she just said, is most of our stories, right? We just don't, a lot of us don't take the action to actually get help because sometimes it's a scary place to kind of look at yourself and look at what you need to do to kind of understand it and unearth it and fix it, right? So the next question is, once you decided to take the leap into getting coaching, was it something that you felt like you could go in head on first? Was there fears in the beginning, or you just kind of was like, I know I need to do this?
Well, I wasn't looking for coaching. I had just got on TikTok and I was scrolling and I happened into one of your lives and something you said just hit me in the head. So every day at lunchtime, I used to just come back and listen and listen and listen. And for a long time, I didn't even get involved. But things that you were saying were resonating with me. And that's what pushed me into looking into getting coaching.
Right. And so just so y'all know, when she did make the leap into coaching, she dug her heels in. Unlike most people, because she was determined to work on it, right? And so it wasn't like she jumped into coaching and everything was peachy. A lot of us, when we do start coaching or healing or whatever, it's a little rough at first. Like you're trying to figure yourself out, right? So the next question is, once you started getting the coaching, I know one of your biggest, and you don't have, you could talk about it to the whatever extent you need to, but one of the biggest things I remember back then was your struggle with boundaries.
That was the hardest part of this whole journey. And I often used to tell you I have boundaries on the job and I had boundaries with my kids, but I did not have real boundaries in relationships and with my family members, my parents and my siblings, which was really, really hard. Um, Once I took that class, it was over. It and all the anxiety went away. And I started out with the boundaries with my parents and then my siblings, which is by far the hardest thing to do. And if you can cross that bridge with them, and everything else is easy as far as putting your boundaries in place. And sometimes I have to still go back and remind them, okay, you're crossing my boundaries. And then they think about it and everybody gets back where we need to be. So that was the hardest part. If you can get your boundaries in place with your family first, everything else is gravy on the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it's that family thing is probably one of the hardest things I had to do on my end too, because these are the, especially when you're talking about parents and like close family, it's hard to tell
It's
them
very
no
hard.
sometimes and stand on it because they're expecting you to be the person they've known you to be for your whole life, and now it's like, no, I can't be that person anymore. I need this for me, and they're like, okay, so when you gonna do the thing? When you go? When you go? It's I remember, and I told you guys quite a few times. My voice had to raise up a little bit because my mama wasn't listening, and I was like, "Wait, you was taught not to do this," but I was like, "You're not listening to me. I'm not doing." And you gotta stand in it, and it's hard. But once you can, that skill set helps you in almost every facet of your life. But it is not easy. It's not easy at all. So when you started taking the coaching, and like I said, she was here. It evolved. It first started off as group coaching, and then it evolved into workshops, which is where it is now. I didn't have the full vision back then. I just knew that I needed to get the information out there. So the next question the next question is, and if you guys have comments or questions to ask her or me, type them in the comments. Boogie's normally the moderator, so if we miss something, just tell us to scroll up or whatever, because she's normally the one handling it. But so so now we're talking about starting on a healing journey, right? Starting on trying to better yourself and taking the classes. Hold on one second. Let me all right, I just hooked you up, Emmanuel. So so when you started taking the well, we'll just call them workshops for now. When you started taking the workshops and immersing yourself into it, did you find it I'm trying to see how to word this. Did you find it difficult to immerse yourself in it at first, or was it something you just knew you had to do and you was just like, I'm going to do this regardless? Like, did you struggle with like staying present with it?
I did not. I was that last relationship, I was over it and I didn't have anything else to do. So when I jumped in, I took your first workshop, which was, Are You Really Ready to Date?
Hmm.
And it was a deep dive into, is this going on? How are you in relationships and things? And all my answers were no. And in that moment, I said, okay, that's it. I got to pull myself together. I'm not going to date. I'm not going to have anyone in my DMs. And I just buckled down and took it real serious.
Right. That's what I affectionately call now sit down and heal. Because you got to sit down. You got
You
to detox from it,
absolutely
because if you
have to.
don't, you're gonna stay in it forever. For a lot of y'all know some people they are always in that cycle until they leave this earth. They just don't know how to. They don't know how to get it. So let's keep this tone of a healing journey, right? You you figured out and made the assessment through that first course that you really needed to buckle down and do what you needed to do, right? And
Mhm.
so for it, I'm what part are you I'm talking about, Emmanuel? There's a question in the comments. I don't
Is
I'm
for the
still talking,
people
so I don't
that
know which
don't,
part. Huh?
okay. It says, for the people that don't know what that looks like, can you give an example? Um,
The process of her not
Taking in my
dating.
dating, I just didn't. I wasn't going outside. I wasn't talking to anybody on the phone. I wasn't answering people in my DM. I got low. I kept my head down and I stayed focused.
And see, for a lot of us, it's hard to do that when we are in a cycle of validation and like having people around, having people make us feel good. When you are used to doing that, what she's talking about is very difficult. So when you make a decision, you got to really make a stand for you. You got to really understand that the things and the cycles and the patterns that you've been through in your life don't make sense. Like you're not getting to the goal. And so what she's saying is that when she took that first course, she realized that she wasn't checking off the check boxes, and she made a decision to stop because it was that serious for her. Especially those of us that's not young, we got to look at like these years mean a whole hell of a lot more now, don't they? We not playing around with time like how we used to when we was in our 20s. So now we realize, and we're parsing through this journey because I need for you guys to realize that you can do this too. It's steps and stages to this, but it also tools, right? Because when she came into coaching, she took the course which showed her basically who she was and how she was moving before she made the decision. You get it? Most of us are just sitting at
Exactly.
home.
Exactly.
So once she started, she didn't stop. Every time I did a thing, she was like, okay, next, okay, I need all of it. And she just kept going because the commitment to you being a better version of herself was important for her to show up better in relationships and also do what y'all say on the internet all the time, pick better, right? So now you chose to stop.
I
So
did.
once you chose to stop, did you have like the withdrawals? Were you did you
I
did
I
you have
actually
moments of weakness?
didn't. The I actually didn't because the breakup was so horrendous for me. And I'm gonna shout my daughter out. This is her first time coming on your show. She's here, so I'm gonna give her a shout out. She said to me, like, "Mommy, you would never. Like, you gotta do better. This is not you. You would absolutely never." So with her saying that, it really made me dig my heels in and go hard to shake that past relationship off and find out why I keep recycling the same types of relationships.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you keep tapping the screen. Make sure you share the live because this is important stuff. A lot of times you'll hear coaches
You
tell
see
you
her
what,
see her
huh?
comment? She said, you never let nobody
Oh,
play with you like that.
yeah, yeah. Let me tell you something. I've known her for a year and a half, and I can absolutely tell you that that is true. So, so, so you I'm trying to think like back then when you had just started and you started taking this stuff seriously and doing what we now will call workshops. It literally was at the when you were doing it. It was I think it was every week.
Every week.
It was
We had
we was
class
going
every
home.
week.
Yeah,
We
we were
saw
going
every
every
week.
week, and now a lot of that stuff has been put into a library for you guys, so you don't have to necessarily go every week. But if you wanted to, it's enough stuff in there for you to do it for a while. But at this point, without me knowing it, I was creating a system of things for people to go back to and get the replay for, because the people that were in the coaching that she was in, you had access to keep to go back and look at the replay at your leisure, which is a so tell the people how important it was for you to go back and revisit some of the stuff that you learned in the classes to kind of get a refresher.
I think it was most important because we we are programmed to go back to what we know. So you have to be consistent with doing the work. So if you have to read something every day until it sticks, and I'm way past retaining information without going over it, I have to go over it a few times. So it was more about the reprogramming of my thought process and getting my emotional intelligence for the most part under control
Right.
and thinking more logically about how I do things as opposed to being emotional about them. So every
Right.
time I started to feel sad or I wanted to pick up the phone, I would go back and it would give me a reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah. This point right here is one of the biggest reasons why the workshops work the way they do, because we're going to have those moments. All of us will have those moments where we do what I call backslide, right? Because you're going to get a text. You may get something that may trigger you. And the beauty in it is that you can go back and replay it and refresh yourself and retool and reset, right? So now on this journey, which we are now starting to evolve into a healing journey, because now we're talking about emotional intelligence. We're talking about recognizing patterns that you've had. Let me double check real quick. Did somebody ask a question and I missed it?
You're good.
Okay. So now we start to talk about emotional intelligence. We start to look at our patterns, and then you continue to show up. In this case, every week, and sometimes, a lot of times, people once they get started and they get a little epiphany here or there, then they disappear, right? So I want you to tell the comments how important it is to stay the course, because it's easy not to. Because now you're on it. I call Boogie my associate professor because she done took everything. You know what's funny? Let me tell you something. She probably has more knowledge about my library and stuff than I do. Like we would literally be on like a Zoom or something, and she'd be like, "Yeah, this is the course that you need," and I'd be like, "Wait, I did do that one." Like she literally because this is what happens to a lot of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So it's funny because the people who have the testimony of going through a lot of the workshops, y'all have watched them more than me, right? Because a lot of people will watch them 3, 4, 5 times. I did it that one time when it was live, and I didn't have to, because I'm the teacher. I didn't go back to it, but you have more intimate knowledge of it because you went back and did the replays and did all the other kind of stuff. So I'd be like, yo, does she know more about my stuff than I do? And let me tell y'all something. It always, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. There was a moment where I really was like, I had to like pause and take a breath, because she had taken all of the workshops, right? Like all of them. And then I created a new one, which was going to be like an addendum to one of the workshops. And she always pays. And she didn't pay. And I was like, is Boogie leaving? And she, she told me, she said, "Coach, I got everything I need and I'm good. I don't need this one." And it was a aha moment for me, because that's the goal of what I do, is for you to get it so that you don't have to need it all the time. You have the replays that you can go back to, but it's a point where the birdie has to fly. That's the goal. Because I don't want you to have to need me every second, you calling me or sending me a message about every little step, when you're supposed to have the tools after all of this, right? So now on this journey, right? And the healing stuff came a little later, right? Like I really started digging my heels into this healing part and the shadow work and all of that. She did all of this without the stuff that y'all get right now, because she was committed to staying the course in order for her to get to the other side of it. So now you tackled the boundary stuff, and I remember it was really hard for you. Then you stopped dating so that you can get yourself together, and then you're still going through coaching this whole time. You're still coming back. Sometimes you probably knew the stuff. I'm gonna speak for you a little bit, but you needed some accountability. You needed a refresher, so you keep coming back, making sure that you're good. So the next question is, and you can answer this however you feel comfortable. What was one thing that you learned about yourself in this process that you maybe didn't know before you started?
I didn't know that I was harboring childhood wounds and had serious abandonment issues. And I learned that I was attracting the broken that was in me from my childhood and tolerating things because I didn't want that person to leave me and not feel abandoned anymore. So we weren't doing the healing stuff in the beginning. I didn't even know I really needed that until we got
Right.
into it.
Right.
And then it was eye opening, game changing. And once we did, I think we did your healing journey,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did the shadow work. Once we did that, and I opened the Pandora's box, so to speak, in regards to, oh, this what makes me tick here and what makes me tick there, and it just was our revelations, so to speak. It was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
And here's the thing about what she just said, right? Which a lot of us need to do that part that she just said, right? The shadow work, the understanding how to begin your healing journey so that you kind of understand and be more self-aware of yourself, right? If you dig your heels in the way you should and you really understand and have an awareness about yourself and like who you are and why you are, once you learn it, you can't unsee it. It like
You
it,
can't.
it
You cannot. You
you
definitely cannot.
you
You
can't
cannot.
unsee it, and it changes the way you view the world around you, how you move, and I'm still getting people that have taken the workshops that are telling me like, I'm like, what's the biggest thing that you've learned so far? You've only taken two, and they're like, the way that I see the world now is different, and I don't let certain energies around me. Like I cannot, and you talk about this all the time. You're like,
We had this conversation the other day. I told
yeah,
you I'm so woke now, like, and it's scary to be this aware of what's going on um around you. And when people's energy is off, if people don't align with you, the discernment is heightened to levels where I can't even really explain it. Like it's really, really been hard. A lot of crying,
hmm
a lot of being angry at myself. Um, and now I think I'm just, I don't want to say I'm hard on people. I just don't have as much. I have patience. I just don't have a lot of tolerance.
yeah. And you know what's interesting about that is, and this is the part where it's difficult for a lot of us because we crave connection, but the the I won't say it's difficult once you get to this part of the healing journey, but it's sometimes it's hard when you become this aware, when you're very sensitive to other people's energy and where you plant your feet. It's going to be a lot of times where you're not going to be entertaining anyone because you have this superpower now, and you're going to have to fall in love with yourself enough to know that you're probably going to have, because you have to exclude the energies that are not for you. You might have a little bit more downtime than you used to. And some people, when they get to that point, they almost get to a point where they've been by themselves too long that they just want to pounce on something, right? And then it's
Oh no,
like,
I don't feel like that at all.
not you, but people do, like when they
I
realize
don't.
that they aren't things aren't happening fast enough. Sometimes that's when they backslide, even though they've learned all the stuff. They're like, yo, this is taking too long. I need to I need something to work now. So here's the thing, and there's a workshop for this too, for when you're on your healing journey and then you slip. How do you get yourself back on track, right? All of these tools are at your disposal, even when you do something that goes against what you've learned. It's always going to be there for you guys.
I took that course, but I was determined that there was going to be no backsliding.
Right.
Like, once I made up my mind, like, don't get it twisted. They tried to spin the block a few times,
hmm
And I just was hearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss you. And then after I have a coaching, well, what do you miss about me?
Right.
And it was more of what I did for that person as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to missing me. And all I could hear you in the background is like, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Yep.
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. And I was like, have a good day. And it just made me more like I could never do it again.
Yeah. See, because I know a lot of the spinning the block language and all of these things, I built courses around how people talk and the word choices and the body language so that when you
Body
hear it, it's gonna
language
ring.
is
It's gonna ring.
decoded.
Yeah. You're gonna it's gonna sound crazy once you understand the language and how it's presented and the word choices and all of those things kind of build a character, almost like a character profile that you can have. So it's like when you hear these certain things, it's like, wait, no. So like she said, when they say they miss you, say, what do you miss about me? And then they're gonna tell you, and it's gonna be some superficial crap that don't have anything to do with who you are as a
As a
person.
person.
It's crazy that even the person who is trying to manipulate isn't smart enough to know that when you ask them a simple question like that they're not ready for, they're going to tell you the truth. They don't even realize that their whole manipulation game just got thwarted by something as simple as you saying, "What do you miss about me?" Now
Yeah.
you're going to have some healing in you to be able to withstand the answer, because sometimes no matter what they say, you kind of give in, and that's why this healing journey is necessary, so that you can have those boundaries and have that love for yourself. And that's why the whole when she's talked about detaching herself from dating and all of that, that's where you get in the gym and build your strength up, so that when you do have somebody trying to spin the block later on after you've gotten the tools and the training and all the other kind of stuff, you can say, nah, I'm good, because I have peace over here now. So,
When
yeah, go
when
ahead.
you go on this journey, you absolutely have to find something for you to do. You cannot sit and be idle with time on your hands. Find you a hobby, a project. Take I found myself coloring, going on solo concerts by myself, traveling by myself, going find you something to do. And if you find you something to do, find you a purpose, take a class, take a cooking class, take a sewing class, find something that piques your interest and dive into it while you're going through this. It will definitely keep the distractions away and you can learn something new at the same time.
Yeah, you when you're in the space of detachment, of detoxing from the stuff, you're especially if you're not used to being in that space. So it's two types of people. It's people that's not used to being in that space, and it's people that have put themselves in that space for isolation, for protection from stuff. You still have to from fear of being hurt or whatever it is. So you always by yourself, but you're not growing. You're just sitting idle, and that's what she's talking about. Once you start this journey, right? You're going to find things to keep you busy, so that you don't fall back into the person that you're growing from, right? That she when she used to always say, I'm going on a solo this and I'm soloing this. Let me tell you, for a lot of us, that's scary as hell. She's like, I'm going on a solo trip. I'm going taking myself here. When you can build your muscles up to be able to do that and stand in it and be okay, you can be okay with other people. Like, because you wouldn't be able to tell, but for most of my life, I was a classic introvert. I always thought about who was watching me, and I can't go to the movies by myself because they're gonna see that I don't have. I had that. All of that was running all up in here. So for some of us, it's hard to do that. But if you can push yourself, right, and do some of these what I call comfort zone challenges, and that I know I talked about this for months and months and months, but we're gonna get into some comfort zone challenges and coaching. So y'all need to go ahead and get familiar for real. We got to get out of this. And this is just stuff. This ain't even dating tips. This is getting you together.
I, throughout all of the courses that I took, I feel like with me finding myself, finding my purpose, having other things to do. I don't have small children. My girls, they encourage me. Ma, you don't have anybody to take care of. Go out, do something. Take care of yourself. I tell them I want to go to a concert. They was like, go. Why not? Like, I have the biggest cheerleaders in my daughters. So that helped a lot. And just staying active, staying busy with the things that I enjoy doing, that a lot of things that I put on the back burner for the sake of a relationship that surface came back up surface level while during this process, got back into a lot of that, and it just made all the difference. It just, I feel free. And I tell you this all the time, I'm no longer in survival mode. For a long time I was in survival mode. So that was the transition from Boogie to Tanya, because Boogie was my survivor. She made sure I was covered and protected, and now Tanya doesn't need her that much anymore because she's healing. So
Yeah, this so let's we're not gonna let that slide by because that's big, right? That when you told me that transition was happening for you, that's huge, right? If we're talking about like if this show is wrapped around healing, that revelation that she had, think about it, guys. What she just said is powerful, and a lot of us have a part of us that we use as a protective layer. Sometimes that person is mean, sometimes that person is whatever, but it helps us get through the world. She said, and I remember it like it was yesterday. You was like, I don't feel like my name should be Boogie anymore because I'm not that person. And then she changed her name on here, so it says Tanya now. And I was like, wait, I don't know what to call you. So that, think about it. We become something new as we go through this. That's why the three ingredients in the gumbo in my platform are healing, growing, and evolving. When you get to the part where you're starting to use the tools and you're going through your growth stage, you evolve into something different on the other side. And that's what she's saying. Once she made that evolution, she didn't feel like she needed that part of her as a protective measure because she now have healthy boundaries and all the other things that we all should aspire to have so she can move around and be in control. So I hope y'all caught that, right? A lot of us are versions of ourselves that we have created to protect us. And it doesn't mean that that person that's protecting you is something angry. It could be you just avoiding advocating for yourself in a relationship. It could be that's your way of protecting yourself is to not talk about the things that you need to talk about. And you sit in that and you suffer in silence. And that's how you feel protected. But it's really not a protective thing because you're still suffering. Right. So when she told me that, I was like, that's the win. That is the win. So I want you to tell them, we're gonna skip past some stuff here. Tell them once you got to the point where you had worked on the boundaries, because I remember all of this, right? I remember when she was struggling with the boundaries, and then when she started implementing the boundaries and how difficult it was, and then being on the other side of it, and then going through all of the stuff. Like, if you guys don't know anything else, and she can tell you, there's you know how they used to have those commercials say there's an app for that? There's a workshop for just about everything y'all need. Along if you dating, if you trying to heal, it's all the stuff is there, right? Once you go through the stuff and you replay it a million times if you have to, the average person I think that has taken a workshop, it's got to be like between 3 and 5 times that they go back and rewatch them a piece, right? Because what happens is that you learn something and then you grow a little bit and then you go back and you see it with different eyes, and then you may see something different and the next time you see something different. So it's always growing. So when you got to the point, and you're going to remember this point when I tell you, when you said I got all the stuff. I think I'm ready to go back outside, but I don't know if the stuff that I learned is. It was you said something like I don't know if it's gonna I'm gonna remember to do it or something like that. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that? How you felt?
Nervous. Like it was, as far as dating, I'm just back outside, like
Mm-hmm.
recently in the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I'm like, I don't really know. Like, am I really ready? And you kept saying, well, how you gonna know if you're ready if you don't jump out there? And then I just started going to dinner and sitting at the bar and having conversations with strangers and go to the concerts and have just, I met a lot of people, strangers who I've had amazing conversations, nothing more. And I applied all of that because it does apply to everybody, whether you're in a romantic relationship or dating or not. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm not forgetting these steps. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm good. I got it.
Yeah, yeah. Like so. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is how this works, right? When you get through the workshops and the coaching, right, you're going to build some skill sets that you probably didn't have before, right? And once you consume enough of it, it becomes a part of you. But you haven't been outside to test it yet. So what she's saying is there's a part of you that says, I know I got it, but I don't know if I trust it to protect me when I'm outside. Like it's still a little bit of the old me in there. So I don't know if it's gonna work. And what I told her was it's in you. And when you go outside, when those things come that may trigger you, it's going to come up. It's almost kind of like somebody who takes karate and then they take it for all of this time and they do all the sparring and then they get into a real fight. It's like the muscle memory just happens and you're like, whoa, I didn't know I remember. I did not know that the boundary is gonna work. What the heck? I'll take it though. Thank you. Um, they, it, Once it's a part of your training, you would be shocked and amazed that that muscle memory happens, and you're going to recognize, oh, you know what? And you're going to be like, that's from that workshop. Oh, yeah, nah, I'm good. It's all going to come. And like all of y'all say that have taken a lot of the courses, a lot of y'all say, y'all hear my voice telling you, don't do it. Don't
Absolutely.
do it. So if
Absolutely.
that's what it takes, I'll be the
Absolutely.
voice. But it's really powerful to go outside to date or not date, just meeting people and to have that toolkit with you, that awareness and the thing, and now you've kind of achieved more of a peaceful mind and heart. So when you go outside, you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna let you interfere. I didn't worked on this. You're not gonna destroy what I worked on, and you got to stand in that because the amount of information that I give you about how to recognize these people is ridiculous. If you if you go outside and you have established the boundaries, you done taken the class that I have on word choices and body language and how to master online dating and all of these things. I wish they would try one of my students. It don't We don't play these games. That doesn't mean it's foolproof, but you're gonna be outside with some things some tools you ain't never had before because even though it seems like a lot, this is what I always try to tell people. It seems like it's a lot of information, but let me tell you something. Once you immerse yourself in it, it becomes a part of who you are. So it's not hard. It's not hard because it's now muscle memory. You don't even realize that you got it until you got it. And you're like, wait, I've heard this somewhere before. I know what this is. Matter of fact, my online dating mastery class doesn't even speak about what the apps you need to use. It teaches you about human behavior and how people move, whether they online or off, so that you will be surgical on no matter what app you get on. You get to decide what feels comfortable for you or not because human behavior, people's motives of what they want from you haven't really changed. It's people that's gonna want to sleep with you. It's people that's gonna want to try to manipulate you. It's gonna be narcissists. Like you can count them on a few. It ain't but so many types of manipulators out there. So if I teach you how to recognize all of them, go date, because
I
they mostly all have the same motive. If you know how to move around, knowing that that is the singular motive for like 5 different types of manipulators, then you already got a one up on them. They want your emotional attachment. So who controls that? You do.
You do. And
You
once you
control it.
realize that, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
And once I realized that the power was within me to make anything go, to make anything stop, to go left, to go right, once I wrapped that around my head and started trusting, like Resh in the Flesh just said, I struggled with that as well, trusting myself.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to learn to go with our instinct and go with our gut. It will never ever fail you. If you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, listen to that. The universe will never guide you incorrectly. We don't usually want to listen and do what we want to do, but once you stop doing what you want to do and listen to your instincts and listen to coach on your shoulder going over that workshop,
I'll be right here.
then it's game over. It really has changed how I see things, how I move, how I converse with people is just completely different than it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I am proud of you
Thank
because
you.
this person is not the person I met.
I know. And you was like, you so hard. We know you from
Man.
Jersey and you so
Man.
hard and you got the RBF. I've worked on all of that in this last year and a half. And
Yeah,
I feel better.
yeah, and I didn't have to train her on, you know, unearthing all of that stuff. It kind of came baked into the healing process. Cause you start to change. I can't teach you how to not have a RBF, right? I can't teach you femininity and all of these other kind of things. But once you start to learn who you are, it just becomes natural for you to kind of be free. And when you're free, and that more organic version of yourself comes out, all of that stuff. Now you happier. You don't need to be walking around like this.
Looking crazy.
So I'm a whole dude. I can't teach you how to be a woman, but I can teach you how to vibrate differently. I can teach you how to learn who you are, so that vibration will attract something that aligns with you. And even if it doesn't, you now have boundaries and all these other things that you never had before. Like, I don't just teach you boundaries and attachment styles and healing and all of this stuff. I tell you what you're going to hear when you go outside. So when you when you hear it, because you think you heard it all until you really dig deep into the why. I give you the why, and then I give you the how, so that you can identify things and traits in people before they even know that you figured it out. I need for y'all to understand this. I help you create a character profile by asking questions in a different way than you're used to, so that you can get more information out of them with them giving you very little verbal stuff. I teach you about the nonverbal cues to help you paint a character profile, so you know if you need to get the hell up out of there early or not. That's the win, is not wasting your time.
Exactly.
So so my next question is, because I'm gonna allow, we'll see. Let me not say this. Let me be quiet. So my next question is, and we only got like 1 or 2 more because I'm coming up with them on the fly. And feel free to type a question in the comments for her if you have a question for her or me, and we'll try to answer it. Yeah, yep. Everybody in the comments, once you know, get the hell up out of there. They don't need to know why.
Exactly.
They don't need to
Exactly.
know why.
Yeah.
Self-preservation.
Exactly.
Who? Hold on. I may bring one person up at a time, but it's going. I'm gonna have to know you because we don't. I don't do this. But I do see Black Star Billionaire in the comments, so I may let her up if she's still here because I'm aware of who she is. And plus, like Boogie said, she's very picky about people's energy. So I want to make sure that I know who you are before you come up here. Um,
Oh,
so 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 here's the thing, right? Without assistance, whether it's coaching, therapy, or whatever, in this particular case, she may still be maybe not doing the same things, but possibly doing similar things. Like we've all been through it without help, right? We know what that looks like because
mhm.
we're left to our own devices. So what I try to tell people is you're going to grow with. You don't have to do it by yourself.
True.
You don't have to do it by yourself. And so I wanted to bring her up here so that you guys, because a lot of times you'll see people come on here and they'll ask you for this or they want you to do this or that, but you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. So this is right here. This is one of many living proofs that the system works, but you gotta want it for yourself. You gotta want it for yourself. And so now when I talk to her now, she's like, I'm good now. Like I don't I when I do decide to go outside and do whatever, I'm good now. I remember like she, I don't know what it is, but like I said in the beginning of the show, she literally memorizes like the titles and the names of all of them. You be like, so yeah, you need to do this one first, and I literally be like, Boogie, tell them which one they did.
In that order.
Do it in this order.
In this order. Yep. Absolutely.
So here's a question for you. Now that you have healed with boundaries, how willing are you for a serious relationship with without what? Hold on. Without what if? Is that now that you have healed with boundaries, how willing are you for a serious relationship without what if? Without the what if. So that means like, are you saying like when you go into it and you start asking yourself like, what if they do this or what if they do that? Is that what you're talking about in the comments? Like, are you willing to be open to a relationship without the hesitation? Is that what you're saying? I just want to
I
clarify.
want her to elaborate before I answer the question. I know.
He said yes.
Okay. I don't have what ifs. It's either this or that. My boundaries are in a place where my non-negotiables are in place. My boundaries are in place. I know what I'm willing to accept and not accept. I'm a woman who has 3 adult children. I'm a grandparent. I travel a lot. So I know my negotiables are I'm not gonna date a man with small children. He can't move how I move. There's no what if. So if I meet a man that checks all my boxes, but he has small children, I'm gonna have to decline on that because when I get ready to go, I move. Um, the what ifs is what brought me to this healing journey because I
Hmm.
always had what ifs. What if I wait around for him to see me in a different light? What if I wait for him to change? Um, what if I wait on him to do whatever it was? So I don't wait on what ifs anymore. I actually, it's either this or that. I do have some areas of green, but my non-negotiables are just my non-negotiables. And
Yeah.
that's it.
So son LT just inbox me and I can tell you what you need. So the answer to your question is absolutely. And anybody that's interested in the workshops that we've been talking about, you literally can go to the link in the bio and pick like which one you think you need, or you can inbox me here and I can direct you on which ones you need by getting a little bit of information, a little bit. not a novel.
LT, if you want the quick version of what I think you should do first and what worked for me, I can do that. Just put it in the
Yeah.
comments and I'll give you a quick rundown. I'm absolutely ecstatic that I did the coaching. I'm glad I met Coach Derek. He's very supportive. Anything that I needed as far as getting in line or getting on the same page with the workshop, he's been there for me. It's just an amazing. We do Q&As, which is more in depth than actually what we do on a live. We get it in. We have real conversations. We are allowed to be vulnerable in that session, free of judgment. And he does not pull any punches with you. He does not babysit you, and he will not allow you for himself to be a crutch.
Yep.
So if you want to put in the work and you're serious about it and you're committed to it and you're consistent with it, it's an awesome program.
Yeah, the benefit to the workshops, because we're going to start wrapping this up in a bit. And I may open one box up for somebody if you want to come up here. But the benefit to the workshop system is that you have me to assist you along the way on your journey, right? So you can ask me questions along the way once you start taking them. But it helps you build an independence in your healing journey so that when you get to a point to where she is, where she's like, I got all the stuff I need, then you're not dependent on me because you did most of it yourself. You just had a guide, the workshops guide you just like you would on a one-on-one on the phone, except for you're going to get way more bang for your buck because each one of them is almost 2 hours long. So you're thinking about one session with a coach or a counselor is going to be more than that 1-2 hour like y'all gonna have to just click the link or inbox me. Seriously, like I don't need to sell you on the fact that you need to heal. You already know you need to do it. So it's time to get started and stop rescheduling your healing like you do with with the New Year's resolutions. I want you guys to heal, but I don't want it more than you do, right?
Exactly.
And the reason why I do this work is because I got tired of hearing people telling you guys to heal but not teaching you how. So I created a system that gives you the how so that you don't have to do it by yourself. So let me see if I have one more question. So guys, we're gonna wrap this up.
Real quick, is Saul LT here before we leave?
Who?
Is she still here? Saul LT, the one who was asking me for
Sun LT.
Sun LT.
I haven't seen her comment.
Yes, he's still here.
Oh, he, who?
Yeah. All right. Real quick. This is the order that I took it because this is how it was available at the time. You can switch it around if you like. If you're wearing she.
Okay, I ain't want to mess it up, so I say both.
All right. If you're wondering whether or not you ready to date or not, start there. Are you really ready to date? You'll figure out your attachment styles. You will then do your boundaries, healing journey, shadow work, dating languages decoded, how to catch a predator.
Dang, you good.
And empath and introverts, if you are one. It's very, very important that you take that one so you can figure out how we love, how we feel, how we care for people, and get settled behind that. And you need boundaries more than ever. So make sure you take the boundaries first so you know how to incorporate it.
No, they all are a la carte. So just inbox me and I can give you the rundown. You can also go to the link in the bio and just scroll through them yourself. But they all are a la carte and they're all separate. So if you need direction on what your order should be, just inbox me and just go for it. Like you don't even really need, like, this is the beauty of the workshops. You don't have to do a one-on-one with me to know to start. Like, you literally could say, you know what, I need to heal, and when you go to the website, there's a healing section, and just take the healing ones, and you don't even need to talk to me because it's going to teach you anyway. Or a lot of you I qualify in the inbox, and I just be like, oh, that's what you need. Okay, cool. Take these three, and then after you finish those three, come back and regroup and do, like, it's real. It's turnkey as hell. And if, like, again, once you start, you can message me questions along the way, but Boogie will tell you most of the time those things give you so much information that you're going to find yourself not messaging me all the time because you got it or you rewound it or whatever. You may have some stuff, as you go through, and maybe you're starting to date again or whatever. You be like, hey, I did this and this happened. Cool, no problem. But most of the time, this isn't even like an intended side effect, but most of the people don't even reach back out. Like, they like, I'm good. I don't.
That's true. That's true.
So we're gonna wrap this up, guys. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. I appreciate you, Boogie, for hanging out. This your first, this your first time live, right? On here.
On here, yes.
Yeah. So, guys, inbox me and or go to the link in the bio, and everything she talked about is right there. It's like a whole workshop library of stuff. whether you need dating stuff, whether you need healing, which most of you are going to need because you're going to need to be self-aware, more self-aware than you are now. And then I have stuff that if you're already in a relationship, it's something in there for all of y'all. And I saw your comment, Pandora, where you said some of us may need to know what I'm gonna tell her in the inbox, but it digs a little deeper, and I don't like putting people's stuff out there in that way unless they're prepared for it. So I'd rather to talk to her like that. But yeah, y'all just keep coming back every Tuesday. Like, some of y'all heard Boogie. I'm gonna say this real quick, tongue in cheek. Some of y'all heard Boogie's whole healing journey tonight, and you still like, I don't know if I should do it or not. So just keep coming back, and hopefully one day you'll be like, I think I'm ready. If this wasn't enough for you, just keep coming back. I'm keep.
And I'm gonna still be around. They're going to. I'm gonna be teaching some of these classes.
Yeah, we got
anyway. So I will be around. I'm still gonna moderate the coach while I'm working on my platform, but I will definitely still be around. If you have questions, feel free to inbox me. There are a few of our regulars in here that show up for the workshops. It's for his Q&As that we have. We used to have once a week.
They're coming. Yeah, I'm getting back in the swing of things. So I'll let you guys know.
We're getting back into that. It is an amazing place to be, and you get your real questions answered or not, and you just get a chance to be vulnerable. We do hold you accountable. And it's an amazing space. So
yep, I appreciate that. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Make sure that you click the link in my bio. Make sure you follow Tanya, because she's gonna start her platform with her health and wellness life coaching. So make sure you support her, and keep coming back. Invite your friends, because you ain't the only one that need it.